to What's Cooking New Ulm. I'm Rebecca Fliszar, the dietitian with the Hearts Beat Back Heart of New Ulm project, working to reduce and eventually eliminate heart attacks in the 56073 zip code. Today's episode is a great one. We have a great guest. Pongsri, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, Pongsri is here just temporarily and has been offering some Thai cooking classes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the classes that you've been offering for us here in New Ulm?
Well, I only have a couple classes because I'm not sure how long I'm going to be here. So the first class was a great success, and everything, they cook their own meal.
Okay, good.
So everything I prepare was like for individual portion after they make them, and then they just bring them home.
That
so
is great.
I kind of help them.
Yeah, it's such a great benefit if you can take advantage of these classes, to learn a different way of cooking, a different culture cooking. You can really open up your palate and find out some different flavors that you might really like. What were some of the recipes that you used on those cooking classes?
I think I make like ground pork with some Thai spice. It's called lab mu in Thailand.
Okay.
So make with some herb and some ground rice.
Okay, great. So, and what do you have planned for the future? What are some of you? Do you have some more classes coming? Or?
Yes, I have one more class coming in October 14th. I don't even remember what I'm teaching.
Great. Well, you can sign up through Community Ed, correct?
Yes.
That's great.
So.
Great. And what brought you to New Ulm? How are we so blessed to have you here?
My father-in-law, Robert Dempsey, grew up in New Ulm, and I have been married my husband 10 years now. I think our 10-year anniversary is coming up this month.
Great.
So I've been, on and off to New Ulm, from Florida to New Ulm. It was a beautiful town. So I love it. People are so friendly, and every time there's a party and there's an event, there's always food.
That sounds like New Ulm. Well,
yes.
We're glad you like it, and we welcome you to our community. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the recipe that you have picked out for us today?
Today, I'm pick out the recipes that one of my grandma is married to, guys that have a sister.
Okay.
That long time ago, that she taught me. I was really young. She said that this is part of this. It's the recipes from the palace.
Okay.
So I don't know if that is what she, referred to. So. I have done it a couple of times. There's some probably missing some recipes, but this is good enough for people here in New Ulm.
Great. So what is it that we're making today?
We are making stir-fried pumpkin, like fresh pumpkin with sweet basil.
Yes, and we're going to use some pork,
yes,
right?
We can use shrimp. You can use pork. Pork seems to give a little bit more flavors too.
Great.
Because pumpkin
has its own distinct flavor. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we hear that pork is not allowed on the Mediterranean diet, but that is not quite correct. We want to make sure we're choosing those leaner cuts of the pork. This is a pork loin. You can see that it is quite solid. We don't have a lot of fat in this cut, and so it is going to work well in our diet today. So let's go ahead and start into our recipe.
Okay, so just start cutting the pork.
All right. So tell us a little bit. We have our pumpkin. Yep, you go ahead and cut, and we can walk through our ingredients. So we're going to be using some pumpkin and some fresh green beans, which I think are great for this time of the year. Everybody can take those out of the garden, so that'll be good. Also the basil, do you use that quite often when you cook, or?
Yes, sometimes, but sometimes they, they smell, they're very strong basil.
For sure.
So you want to once a while, I guess.
Sure, sure. Yes, this recipe does call for quite a bit of basil. So, if it's a taste you're used to, it's going to be a great recipe. If it's not something you've cooked with before, you might want to add small amounts of basil and add to taste. So you might not want to start with the full amount. So.
We usually use Thai basil because they're a little bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, they smell different. But this is fine.
Good. So what do you think of all the New Ulm food that we eat? What have you found that you've really enjoyed?
Well, Geiserhof.
Geiserhof, that's good. That's good.
And Lola, I guess, the new market, right?
Great.
And I enjoy Corner Store coffee.
Great, the Cornerstone. Okay, good. So yeah, New Ulm does have a lot of great places to sit down and enjoy a good cup of coffee and a nice meal. So that's great.
So I try just about everywhere.
Yeah. So you're cutting this
And-
into some pretty small pieces,
Yep.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we had to be very small because we want to make sure that because of the pumpkins are thin, you know.
Right.
I
So are we going to heat that pork first, or
yes,
how's this
we're gonna
go?
cook the pork first.
Okay.
So, but sometimes we can cut them like bigger. Like I'll show you the size of. It depends. Well, today we use different kind of pumpkin. And usually the great one that's it's very very rich as flavor is a Japanese pumpkin or the green pumpkin that you have in the market. It works too.
Okay.
The green one that they're not too old, they're not too young, you know.
Right.
So it's like sometimes you can make them, you know, like the pretty one, like kind of like this size.
Okay.
I'm not gonna use all of this. Like I don't know, it's you know when you cook them,
Uh-huh.
they'll come out really
Nice
nice
and thin.
like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
But
Good.
right now I'm gonna use this one.
Yeah.
So I think that's good enough.
Right.
for that.
This recipe
We
is
don't need-
great. So many of us will have pumpkins left over now at Halloween. This recipe can utilize one of the pumpkins you have up on the front steps. We don't have to waste that produce. So we're really glad you brought this recipe in. So
I'm just gonna.
yep,
wash
go
my
ahead
hand
and
real
wash
quick.
your hands. And that does remind us that we want to be careful of cross-contamination. Pork is one of the foods that we have to be very careful with. So you'll notice that Pongsri has 2 cutting boards and 2 large knives. One will be for her vegetables and one is for the pork. You want to make sure you follow that same practice at home to make sure that we have no cross-contamination.
Okay, great. So now, since I guess that one.
Yep.
We just heat it up to like medium
Okay.
because we don't want to burn the garlic.
Okay.
So, just gonna do that quick.
As with any
Use that
stir
one.
fry, you can really choose a lot of different vegetables. The green beans are one example today. What other things do you like to throw into a stir fry?
Everything.
Good.
I stir fry everything. You know, stir fry doesn't have to be a lot of oil. Basically, you can use water. You can a little bit to make sure that they're dry. They're not like soupy.
Right.
You know? So, just the oil just pretty much for garlic.
Okay. Good.
So, and then the smell, of course. Garlic and oil smell good.
Right. And remember the great heart healthy principles of garlic as well. So we always encourage you to add garlic into all of your dishes. Just makes it a little bit heart healthier than if it didn't have it along. So other vegetables maybe you want to throw in if they're coming out of your garden right now would be your squash. That would go very well with your pumpkin. Anything else coming up? Your carrots. All of those fit just fine into a nice stir fry. Most root vegetables will fit just perfectly into this dish.
Yep. So you want to chop them really just to enough for pieces.
Okay. So Pongsri, have you had trouble finding the groceries for your Thai classes here, or where do you purchase your groceries?
That's why some of the class I taught it have to be, you know, like I can find local, and then some of them I have to go to Twin City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the Asian market.
Great.
So I guess that this might be hot now.
Yep.
Yeah, look like it.
All right. So you can see that Pongsri is
So-
just adding a very small amount of oil to
Yep.
grease up the bottom of that pan. We always prefer the olive oil, but any of your natural vegetable oils will work to reduce that overall cholesterol, bring up your good cholesterol and down the bad. We're avoiding those
I put a
saturated
bit in.
fats such as butter and replacing them with olive oil, canola oil, safflower oil. Any of those are going to be a little bit better for you. Do remember that oils are higher in calories. They still have the calories. They don't have that reduction. So think of that when you're adding those to your pan.
This is kind of take a little bit longer.
Okay, well, while we wait for that to heat up, why don't we go ahead and check in with Holly and see what's new in her Fit in 5.
Welcome to today's Fit in 5. We're going to talk about exercising in the cold today. The weather is starting to get a little bit colder now that fall is here, but there's really no need to take your workout indoors as long as you dress properly. When it comes to working out in the cold, the main concern we have is hypothermia. Your body fat's going to protect you from that a little bit, but you can also help protect yourself from hypothermia outdoors by dressing appropriately. We want to think of dressing in layers. The base layer, or the layer that we have closest to our skin, we want to have something like this. It's a polypropylene blend of a shirt. What this is going to do is it's going to allow the air to stay trapped next to our skin, which keeps us warm. At the same time, dissipating the sweat away or wicking the sweat away from the body. If we were to wear a cotton t-shirt, per se, next to our skin, that's actually going to trap the moisture against our skin and make you chilly. So we always want to make sure that our base layer is at least a type of wicking material. Most materials like this are marked as wicking. So some brand names will call it dry fit, some call it Climacool. This shirt, I actually got at one of the local retail stores, so they're available just about anywhere. When we look at the next layer that we want to wear, we're going to look at a fleece. Some type of fleece is great to wear over that base layer. Again, it doesn't trap the air or doesn't trap the moisture next to the skin. It allows the air to stay trapped, but you to stay dry. And then finally, over the fleece, if it's really chilly, we can wear a jacket, which is weatherproof or moisture wicking. Again, the jacket that I have on today is very similar to what you would look at wearing. Also remember that 50% of your heat is lost through the head when it's really cold. So it's really important to also wear a nice hat on your head when you're outside. You should do this whether you're physically active outdoors or working out outdoors. If you're outdoors and your head is bare, you want to think about covering it because you will lose 50% of your heat through your head. We also look at wearing things on our hands and feet, of course. We want nice, warm footwear, but we also want to keep the hands warm with some gloves. These are some running gloves that I acquired a while back. They're great for running with, but you can use just about any glove. We want to keep the hands and feet warm because the blood is actually shunted away from our extremities when we're physically active outdoors, and they can get cold really quickly. The blood will go toward your core to help keep you warm. One safety precaution that we want to look at when we're outdoors as well is not falling. So, you know, the snow is going to fly. It is Minnesota. So when we're outside and the snow is snowy or maybe a little icy, we want to make sure that our footing is secure. I like to use these yak tracks. These fit, as you can see, right on your shoe, and they actually will help provide you with some traction. They're great for running or walking in outdoors, like I said, when it's snowy or icy, and to help secure your footing. These can actually be found at some local retail stores also, and they're fairly inexpensive. So you can see that if you dress properly, dress warmly, and have some good traction, you can keep your outdoor exercise outdoors even when it's cold. Remember that December 11th, we do have the Jingle Bell Jam 4-mile walk or run coming your way. So now that you have the tools and the wear to train in, give it a try. For today's Fit in 5, I'm Holly, and have a healthy day.
Thanks, Holly. Those are some great tips. All right, Pongsri, tell us where we're at and what you've done.
Well, this pork is, you know, like ready for before they burn. You have to throw the pumpkin
For vegetables.
Yeah,
so we just, Pongsri just browned her garlic in that little bit of oil while we were away. She also heated up that sliced pork that she had cut up so thinly, and that has heated up fairly quickly. So once that is brown, she's now adding in all of her vegetables, and it's turning into a really nice colored stir fry. That looks great.
Yep.
So how long are we going to let that pumpkin in there?
You know, this a couple minutes. We have to cover it.
Okay.
So we have to cover so that we want to make sure the pumpkin cook a little bit.
Okay.
So
just hold on. So our pumpkin is starting to turn. What are we looking for, Pongsri? How are we going to know when that is done?
We have a fork. We have to like stick into it.
Okay.
So that when they come apart,
Great.
you know, they're close to being done because we still have to add the. We want to cover this for a couple minutes so that we want to make sure the pumpkin is cooked before we add the green bean in there. So.
Good. Now the green beans are what is going to cook the quickest. Is that right? That's why we're adding that last.
The green bean for stir fry, you know, if you like softer bean, then you can add
earlier.
Before.
Okay.
Yes. But if you like them crunchy, then you don't really need to cook them.
Okay.
You add in there, and then they should.
Great.
They should do it.
Now remember, your pumpkin is going to be very high in vitamin A, so this is a great source of different nutrients that we try to get when we color our plate. By adding in the orange vegetable, we really get a different blend of nutrients. So often we rely on our carrots for that orange vegetable, but the pumpkin is going to do great. 170% actually of that vitamin A in just 1 cup of pumpkin. So do try to incorporate this into your daily intake.
Okay.
Okay?
So like this, this is the,
Uh-huh.
okay. Like this piece, see? You kind of see the colors
Turning a
change.
little bit?
The
Okay.
color change a little bit. So we can turn to a little bit like just medium.
Okay.
Or like higher, so
A
that
little.
the pumpkin can.
Okay.
I
So we're
think
looking for
that's,
it to change that color, get a little lighter, and
Yeah,
that's what
get
we're
a
looking for?
little, yeah, like
Okay.
not the same color as this one.
Great.
More like yellow.
Okay. Okay.
So
Pongsri, tell us now what happens. You said you won't be in New Ulm much longer. When can we expect you back? And will you be doing more classes in the future?
sure. Well, I will be in April. I will be going back to Thailand to get some more recipes and travel all over Thailand to do research and have my book, have my cookbook, hopefully.
Oh, good for you. Great, great.
Yes, and so.
And you have another trip planned back to New Ulm yet?
Yes.
Good.
After we go to Thailand in April for a couple months or maybe like 6 months, then we're gonna be in New York City, and then there I'm gonna learn more of cookings and
Great.
recipes and all that stuff.
You know, as New Ulmites, we don't often have the opportunity to have someone come from a foreign country and teach our cooking classes. I hope that our community will take advantage of this. You know, as you look at this recipe, you're going to find that it's really quite healthy, as were most of the other recipes that you chose. So, it is a good opportunity. We always say that we need to add more to our community, and I think Pongsri really does bring that. So I hope everybody could take advantage of the classes that she offers.
Okay. It's really good now.
Great.
So it's a little, so you just kind of add this green bean in there.
Okay. And now, how many people will this serve, Pongsri? How many?
Because in Asia we eat everything with rice, so
Okay.
we can with rice or a little bit of pasta on
Okay.
the sides, I guess. Like brown rice would be.
Right. Brown rice
Very
would
good.
work well.
Yes.
Barley. Any of our grains would
any
go well.
grain, yes.
And this does make a dish for 2 people, so you have a good-sized portion. Our vegetables are very low in calories, of course, low in our cholesterol. So you can have an ample amount of food here and still stay very low on your cholesterol intake. So that looks
Okay.
great. So what's next?
What's next is that we just have to put all the. If somebody wanna add more oil, it's good too. Today we just. So, okay, I'm gonna add the light soy sauce for just a little bit.
And you did hear Pongsri say that she'll use the light soy sauce. Even in the light version, soy sauce is very high in sodium. That is going to affect blood pressure, fluid retention, and other cardiac conditions if you're predisposed to them. So do use that in moderation. It can still be incorporated into the recipe and the amounts that Pongsri has listed for this recipe, but do use it sparingly if possible. And what herbs are we adding in? This is a white pepper?
White pepper, yes.
And
or
what-
black pepper. It's
Okay, is that all right?
If somebody doesn't like white pepper.
Okay.
So because this is kind of big basil, so I'm just gonna cut them like this.
Okay.
because
Now you may
they're
remember
kinda big.
Pongsri did say that this is going to be your strongest flavor in this recipe, so
Yes,
use it as you will. If you like basil, it's definitely something you want to incorporate into your recipe. If you haven't used it very often, do use it sparingly until you're sure you like it.
Yes.
Pongsri, we're going to let you finish that up, and we're going to go ahead and check in with
Okay.
Betsy and find out what's new with the Heart of New Ulm.
Hi, I'm Betsy Pizer with the Heart of New Ulm Project, and I'm here in Rebecca's kitchen today to let you know about the culinary competition and food expo that's happening on November 6th. That's a Saturday afternoon, November 6th at the Community Center from 2 to 6 p.m. We'll start the day off at 2 p.m. after the Women's Expo and other fun events that are happening in town. And you can get recipes, taste foods, and learn more about food councils from the area and restaurants' heart-healthy dishes. Then from 4 to 6 p.m. we'll have a culinary competition. 6 different teams will compete from the area, providing you their best attempt at adapting their heart-healthy recipes. So if you have a recipe for Grandma's potato salad that you're looking to make into a heart-healthy version, consider entering in the culinary competition. You have until October 18th to get your recipe submitted to the Heart of New Ulm office. You can find us on the website at heartsbeatback.org, or you can mail it to us at the Heart of New Ulm office at the New Ulm Medical Center. The recipe has to be original, which means it can't be copied from a cookbook. It has to be something that you've created on your own or adapted, and it has to include one of 8 ingredients that we have listed on our website. Just to mention a few, it can include red peppers, chicken breasts, apricots. We've selected 8 different items that are heart healthy will help make your dish delicious. We hope to see you on November 6th at the Culinary Competition and Food Expo at the Community Center. Thanks and have a great week.
Thanks, Betsy. That's some great information, and make sure you're checking in with your district leader to find out what's new with the Heart of New Ulm. All right, Pongsri, let's get this plated up and see how it looks.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, yeah, that looks beautiful. Look at the color in there. Yeah, it smells great, too.
Yes, so we're just going to put it on a plate.
As mentioned, we're going to add some starch on the side, so if you like your brown rice, a nice fruit salad would really complement this as well. You can even add things like nuts or other sources of protein if you're not comfortable with the pork. Pongsri, you had some other suggestions too, some seafood or shrimp. What else would you put in there?
Yes, some seafood. My real recipes would be like roasted shrimp paste.
Okay.
That you roast them until they smell very good, and then you blend them into it.
Great. So this recipe can be modified a lot of different ways, huh?
Yes. It have a couple ways to make them, but this is the way I like it.
Great.
I like them dry. It's because they're very rich with the rice.
Perfect.
And then along that you have just like chicken broth soup, a little bit with cut small like zucchinis, and along with this it's fantastic.
Yeah, it looks it and it smells great. Pongsri, we are really blessed to have you in our community. We're glad that you're here, and we hope that your classes fill. So if you're interested in the Thai cooking classes, do connect with the Community Ed, and they'll get you all set up. Otherwise, we'll be excited to see what recipes you bring back for us next summer.
Sure. Wow.
We'll be back again.
Yes.
So thanks for being here, Pongsri. I sure appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's episode of What's Cooking, New Ulm. We'll see you next week.